There's a moment that many men experience in midlife that they don't realize, but by the time they figure it out, often it is way too late. So in this video, I'm going to talk about a couple of things, a couple talking points rather, to help you out to see if you are in fact hitting that midlife crisis. Stay tuned. Let's get into it. The first thing on a midlife wake up call is that it feels very subtle at first. I was in my early 40s, paying no attention to any of the signs whatsoever, and it hit me super hard. After being a police officer for 18 years, I ignored all of these signs of coming up to midlife, and boom, with the career, with the family, with everything going on, I again paid no attention to these warning signs and crashed hard. A lot of times it will show up as frustration, there's some anxiety, a lot of irritability, maybe restlessness. You're coming home or you're sitting around and rest just does not feel like rest. You've burned yourself out, you're going overboard all the time, and you need to start paying attention to some of these signs, especially if you are in your early to mid 40s. What happens is a lot of men don't pay attention to it, they brush it off, and then they fill their lives with tons of distractions. I know guys in their early 40s, unfortunately, who have gambling addictions, video game addictions. Maybe you're sitting scrolling all the time and you just feel like even though you're trying to rest, you can't rest. There's a lot of things going on and you're filling your time with distractions. Another thing that happens oftentimes is that when we hit that midlife point, we start questioning the direction our life is taking. You're asking yourselves, like, is this really it? Is this all there is to it? Once I had achieved everything that I wanted to in my career as a police officer, edging towards that kind of like endpoint in the career itself, I started questioning. I had seen all this stuff, I'd done all this stuff, and I thought, like, is this all there is to it? There's got to be more. And I just really started hitting these low points. So if you're finding yourself really getting to a point where things aren't so clear anymore, you're losing your direction, then it's time to have that midlife wake up call and start doing something about it. Things in the career or in your family that once made sense, you start saying to yourself, like, why bother anymore? What's going on? I did this oftentimes in the career when I started hitting burnout in that like midway point of the career. I was questioning things, saying, like, why am I even doing this anymore? What is the end goal? I'd lost purpose, I'd lost focus. And coming up to late 30s, it was really a wake up call that I should have paid attention to, but I was ignoring. All of the things that I was trying to accomplish, I had wrapped up into the career. So I had no outside interests, no outside hobbies. I was outside of my clear focus on what my goals and what my purpose was at that point. Here's what most men do. Instead of facing it, they'll double down, but they double down at work, picking up extra shifts of overtime. They double down in maybe bad habits, isolation, and things to where you're not facing it. You're putting it aside and just ignoring it altogether. Scripture often talks about a lot of incidents, a lot of events where chaos and stripping down of people like Elijah and David and Solomon before that wake up call came. A lot of times, God will use these events in our lives, these times in our lives, to have us refocus and redirect what our purpose is. Because for so long, it was in the career, it was in the family, it was in all of these things. And now getting to that midway point, halftime, so to speak, you're kind of thinking like, God, what is my purpose? And you got to pay attention and press in, because a lot of times these instances, these events in your life, getting toward the halfway point, will be God hitting the pause button for you, starting to strip you down a little bit to redirect you into what is next. What is the next step? What's the next quarter? What's the third quarter looking like for you? God will use these as an opportunity to get your attention at times. And oftentimes, what we will see as a disruption in our lives can actually be a redirection. So make sure that you're paying attention, have the self awareness to understand what could be really going on here. So if you find yourself relating to some of these, sometimes the moment isn't the problem. This is a great wake up call for us to begin the second half, to stop, pause, reflect, and see what really is in the second half for us. Don't try to think to yourself, well, I'm midlife, I'm too old now. We hear it all the time. And I've even been guilty of using these excuses too. Well, I'm getting old. Well, I can't wait till retirement. Well, on and on and on. Plug in your own excuse where you want to. But if we use this midlife wake up call and recognize what it is, because there's a lot of things going on, this can be a defining moment for you to begin to look forward to the second half in what you're actually purposed to do. So if this is a signal that something deeper is calling to you, you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to pause and fix it? Are you going to ignore it? Are you going to continue on with more distractions in your life that clearly aren't going to fix the problem? Hey, let me know what your biggest distractions are. If this is a midlife wake up call for you, hey, welcome aboard. We're all in the same boat together, and we're going to use this channel to help solve some of those issues that you might be going through. Till next time, we'll see you later.